Yo, what it do, family? Nag-decide ako mag-vlog for a lot of reasons. First, I need an accountability partner on my weight loss journey, on my journey to be, healthy. And at the same time, I need an accountability partner para maging consistent ako in everything that I do, because man, I've been doing a lot of things pero hindi ko natatapos, and I need that. I want y'all to be that. Also, me and the wife, we started this real estate venture, but wala akong alam sa real estate. I'm trying to understand, and I joined the mastermind. Man, this mastermind, bro, it's the name is Air Venture Academy with Jesse Vasquez. Oh man, sobrang, the community is really good. Everyone trying to help each other, especially the mentors. Special shout out to Jesse Vasquez and Don De La Cruz, baby. Hey man, I just want to thank y'all. Gusto ko sana na I want to take y'all to my journey, and hopefully, we learn together para matuto tayo. At the same time, I don't know if I could add value to your life, or but yeah man, let's do this. So quick history, my real name is Adrian Manalo, but people call me Boogie. Ever since I was young, yun na yung pinangalan sa akin, Boogie. So that Boogie name stuck up until now, and actually mas prefer ko yung Boogie kaysa sa Adrian. So yeah, quick history. So have 2 kids and a lovely wife. My wife's name is Anne. 16-year-old is Sean, and then the 6-year-old is Alonso. Man, love my family to death. Tapos so I did dialysis before. Before that, syempre galing sa Pilipinas, and then 2019 nag-migrate kami dito sa US, over at Texas, and then after that I got sick. 2012 went back home kasi sobrang haba ng pila sa transplant, sa kidney transplant, yung list for the cadaver. So me and the wife, that time isa pa lang yung anak namin, it was just Sean, and then nag-decide kami na to go back to the Philippines and try to pursue the transplant over there, and ended up staying there, and then we went to Australia, sa Adelaide. So we went there. The wife, nauna siya sa akin, and then I followed her, but that time medyo malala na yung sakit ko. I cannot eat, wala na akong panlasa, and then by the time na nag-follow ako sa Australia, wife was already working there. She was we came in as a student. She came in as a student So, ang nangyari, kami lang dalawa, naiwan yung anak ko, na anak namin sa Pilipinas, si Sean. And then, so I was in the process of trying to work over in Australia, and then I have to do medical. And then, so yun, nagpa-medical ako. But then, after nung medical, hindi na ako pinalis ng hospital. Kasi, no, actually, una pala, nagpa-check up muna, and then, yun nga, medical, and then the doctor talked to Anne and said that something's wrong na mataas na daw yung creatinine ko. So, the following day, the wife convinced me to just go to the hospital, and sabi niya sa akin na ano lang daw, blood transfusion lang ako. But something inside me felt, you know, something's not right, but I have to go. And then we were in the parking lot, and we've been talking, negotiating for an hour if we should go, because by that time natatakot na talaga ako, like hindi na tama yung nararamdaman ko. And then so ended up going to the hospital. After that, hindi na ako pinalabas ng hospital, and then went to the resuscitation ward. And then I saw my wife, like she was crying, bro, like umahagulhol talaga. So at that point when I saw her crying, like, because that was the first time that I saw her cry, like you know, I was like, oh man, this is it, like this is it for me. So I thought I was gonna die already. So ended up, they put me in the resuscitation ward. When I came in there was like, I don't know, man, like 18 to 20 doctors. You know, there are 3 doctors talking to me. Other doctors are taking off my clothes. Other doctors are talking to my wife. You know, so parang, alam mo yun, ang daming nangyayari. And then, so yun, nung makita ko siyang umiiyak ng first time ever in my life, na magsama kami, na doon ko lang siya nakitang umiyak. And then, like I told, like, oh man, that's it. But then, so tinawagan ko yung mami ko sa Pilipinas, and then I talked to my brother, and they was already crying. I was crying. My wife is crying. And my wife told me, like, sige na, you have to do this. And then my wife, and then my mom told me, like, sige na anak, humiga ka na lang, just do whatever they want. So yun, ended up, yun na nangyari. So humiga na lang ako. And then after that, they did dialysis on me for 24 hours sa ICU. And by that time, sabi nila my creatinine was already 24. And then the doctor was saying that I'm already like confused already. But nung by the time kasi na pumasok ako ng resuscitation ward, sobrang dami ng doctors, man. So hindi ako confused, alam mo yun, alam ko nangyayari, I know everything, but they insisted that I was confused. So I mean, and so that's that. And then after that, nilagyan nila ako ng access dito sa dibdib. And then after that, after the day nalagyan ako ng access, they sent me back home to the Philippines. And then after that, once I landed in the Philippines, the next day I had to do dialysis already. So yun, did dialysis for almost 5 years. Sobrang bata pa nung anak ko. I thought like that was it for us already, like that was it for me. Because even before, like nung medyo alam ko malala na ako, kasi before pa yun, Hindi na talaga ako nakakatulog sa gabi. Like, super stressed out, man. Like, hindi ko kaya yung stress. So, ang always nangyayari, every night, lasing para makatulog. 3 to 4 bottles of Red Horse. Just to, help me to sleep. And then, yun. And then, tapos, at the middle of the, my dialysis journey, they had to take off both of my kidneys. And then, I did bilateral nephrectomy sa kidney center. And then, for some reason, man, like, yun yung, na magkasakit ako, that was the time that I was able to know God. So, God came to my life nung nagda-dialysis na ako. Pero, alam mo, ganun naman palagi eh. Like, every time that our back is against the wall, pag nasa, alam mo yun, na sobrang hirap na, sobrang walang-wala na, we always turn to God. And at that time, actually nakikita ko na palagi yung kababata ko. Napakaloko ng kababata ko na yun. But then, he told me na pastor na daw siya. And every time that I see him, he was like, pare, attend ka naman sa church. Lagi kaming ganyan. Every time nakikita kami, he's inviting me to go to church. And then one day, me and my wife, my wife told me like, alam mo, puntahan na natin si Tawing. Because nakakahiya every time that we see them. Lagi tayong ini-invite sa church. So ended up going to the church. And then, hindi ko ito makakalimutan, man. The pastor was Pastor Erwin. So he did the preaching, and then, man, it was like he was talking to me, bro. Like, everything that he's saying, it's like, alam mo yun, one-on-one kami nag-uusap. Parang kinakausap niya ako. Everything that he's preaching is, parang tumatagos lahat sa puso ko. And I was like, oh man. Alam mo yun, from that day on, I was like, oh man, I need to go to church. Why? I don't know this guy, pero why does it seems like he knows me? Because yun nga, yung preaching, alam mo yun, parang yung feeling mo na kinakausap ka niya ng one-on-one. So I was like, so I think, sabi ko, parang sa sarili ko, man, how did this guy know me? This is the first time I saw him. So after that, by that time, nagda-dialysis na ako. I think that was my first year on dialysis or second year or something. But basta yun. And then on the third day, I think on my third year, I was already peeing fresh blood. So after noon, humihina ako ng fresh blood. So ang baba na ng hemoglobin ko. And then yun, so we decided na kailangan na ako i-surgery, like take off both of my kidneys out, because yun yung nagkokos ng blood na, that's why umiihi ako ng fresh blood. So after that, I did the surgery, did bilateral nephrectomy, and then so I just continued going to church, and I started to read the Bible. I started to understand. Alam mo yun, every time I do my quiet time, like, naintindihan ko yung, alam mo yun, parang nangungusap na sa akin yung Bible, and I was like, oh man, this is really good. And ever since naman bata ako, I would say I'm religious, kasi alam mo yun, kasi laki rin kami sa hirap. So again, back against the wall. All you need to do is ask God, like He's always there. So yun, nung time na yun, wait, nasa na ba ako? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So bilateral nephrectomy, and then yun nga, nangungusap na sa akin yung Bible. You know what, guys, like, you know what, family, I feel like I already have like hindi naman super intimate, but intimate relationship with God. And then I think after a week or a month, I was already like, alam mo yun, tumawag na sa akin yung nephrologist ko. She told me like, hey Boogie, we already have a kidney for you, but the guy was already dead for the past 10 hours. Alam ko meron lang certain hours. Pag halimbawa say coming from a cadaver, kasi 3 hours pa yung biyahe ko mula Manila, from Lucena to Manila. And so yun, and she was like, oh, ready ka na ba? Mag-ready ka na, pumunta ka na dito sa kidney center kasi mayroon ng kidney para sa'yo. And after we ended that call, I talked to my wife, and she was like, okay, let's go, let's do it. So punta na kami doon, and then by the time bago kami umalis, the doctor called me again, and she said, ay Boogie, wag na pala kasi matagal nang patay yung pasyente, and I don't think you would be able to make it kasi 12 hours nang patay, and then yung biyahe ko is another 3 hours, and then they're gonna prep me. So by that time hindi na rin maganda yung status nung kidney. So ended up not doing that, and then we just kept on praying. Every year nangyayari na lagi ako na hospital every year for yung journey ko ng dialysis. Every year lagi kami nagpapasko and bagong taon sa kidney center. Even my son, he already knows his way at the hospital. So yun, and then after that, madami pa nangyari, and nag-lead pa ako ng group sa church because I was on fire to God, man. My heart was burning for Him, bro. It's just different, like pag yung, alam mo yun, like just have a relationship with God is just different, man. I don't know how to explain it, but it is different. So after that, so yun nga, so nakaipon kami ng pera for the transplant, but then like what I said earlier, every New Year, every Christmas, lagi na hospital, so yung funds na ubos. And then so yun, patuloy ako nagbabasa ng Bible, and then this nung nagbabasa ako, laging lumalabas, lagi ko na encounter yung verse na ano ba yun, if parang hindi ko masabi yung ano kasi mahina memory ko, pero yung context nung verses, like when you pray, consider it done. Parang gano'n, like when you pray to me, when you pray to God, if you have faith, consider it done. It's Mark 4:24, I think. So yun, and then lagi ko nakikita yung ganong context ng verse, every time I read the Bible. And then one time, pauwi ako galing dialysis, yung pinsan ko gave me a calendar. Alam mo yun, yung calendar na sa Pilipinas pagka yung, di ba yung calendar, tapos yung si Jesus, and then merong yung may mga nakasulat like welcome back, something like that. And then nakalagay yung nakita ko na naman yung verse Mark 4:24. And I was like, oh man, I think God is talking to me. Sabi ko, He is definitely talking to me. By that time, wala na kaming pera, no more savings. I told my mom, first I told my wife, I told her, honey, transplant na ako. Sabi ko sa kanya. And then she was like, okay. I told her like, no, magtra-transplant na ako. Sabi ko, tara na, we should pack our bags kasi magtra-transplant na ako. And she was like, you should be like maging be real kasi wala na tayong pera. And then I told her, basta magtra-transplant na ako. God already talked to me that magtra-transplant na ako. And then nag-end up, nag-argue na kami mag-asawa. So I stopped, went to my mom. Sabi ko, may magtra-transplant na ako. And then she started crying. Sabi niya, nak, kung ako lang, gusto ko talaga ma-transplant ka na. Kaso wala na tayong pera. Sabi ko, hindi mo naiintindihan, mata-transplant na talaga ako. The Lord told me that I'm going to get a transplant. So, nag-end up, that night, nakulitan na siguro yung nanay ko tsaka asawa ko sa akin. That night, nanghiram kami ng sasakyan sa in-laws ko, and then went straight to kidney center. Ang pera lang namin nun is 150,000, only enough for one day just to be admitted. So yun, hintay kami na matagal, and then madaling araw I was able to get a room. We were able to get a room, and then yun na, started the process of transplant. And you know, sobrang how God works in our lives. Kasi nga, di ba, wala kaming pera. And then yung nephrologist ko, nagkameron siya ng opportunity para kumuha ng mga pasyente para ilagay sa study. And the study is, they just want to see if yung epekto ng gamot, yung tacrolimus, like in a controlled environment, like every 2 weeks you have to go to her, you know, you have to do checkups every 2 weeks. You have to be there, report, you know, so she would know what's happening. If I'm having symptoms or whatnot, kung paano mag-react yung body ko sa gamot. So yun, pakatuwid, sabi niya, okay Boogie, you know what, something came in, and I think you would really benefit from it. And so she enrolled me. Only 3 people, buong Pilipinas, man, buong kidney center, only 3 people will get in to the study, and I was one of it. Okay, so and then anong nangyari, ended up nagkasakit ako, dapat papasok na ako sa operating room, but then I got sick, so hindi pwede. And that was October. Was it October? Oh, September. And she told me, oh, paano ba yan? Sabi niya, that's bad kasi hindi ka napasok sa na-transplant na-operahan ng September. So, tatanggalin na muna kita. someone has to come in because October or December mag-start na yung study. So yun, nalungkot kami kasi sayang yun, kasi ang mahal-mahal ng gamot, maintenance para sa transplant. And then so yun, came October, November, wala nangyari. But December, again, pumunta ulit kami ng kidney center kasi yun nga, alam mo yung gut feeling na magta-transplant ka na, and because God was already talking to me through the Bible. So ended up nagpunta kami ng kidney center. And then nung maka-check-in na ako the other day, guess what? Lord is really faithful, man. You just keep praying to Him. You just keep talking to Him. Because, man, He hears our prayers. He hears our prayers, man. Parang you don't give up on faith. On your faith. You don't give up on it. I just, man. So yun, the next day, ma-confine ako, dumating yung doktor ko, and she told me, you know what, Boogie, I have good news for you. Alam mo ba yung pumalit sa'yo, nag-back out. Kasi she chose to, kasi nung time na yun, merong program yung PhilHealth. Pagka low risk ka for transplant, the PhilHealth will cover 600,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So anong nangyari, and kailangan kin mo yung magdo-donate sa'yo. So nangyari daw, yung pumalit sa akin is she chose PhilHealth, so she got out of the program. And now by December I got back in. So man, sobra talaga si Lord, man. The way He moves through our lives, man, sobra. So you just keep calling to the Lord, kahit na alam mo yun, like feeling mo hopeless na, feeling mo wala na, but He's always there. He has plans, bro. Like, hindi mo maintindihan kung anong plano niya. Most of the time it doesn't make sense, but you gotta have faith. You just have to trust Him. Like whatever His plan is for you, walang pwedeng makapigil nun, kahit sino pa. Kung ano yung plano ni Lord para sa buhay mo, walang makakapigil nun. Sabi nga, harangan man ng sibato, kung ano man o bagyo, no one can ever change that. You just have to believe. You gotta have faith in Him, and whatever His plans for you, it will come to pass, man. So yun, that was really good news, because she told me, yun nga, balik ka na sa program, and it was just about time because magto-transplant na ako. So December 16, man, I will not ever forget that date. December 16 na transplant ako. And at the same time, kasi yung wife ko nurse, we've been waiting for the petition for almost 10 years, because that time sobra yung retrogression. And the time na pinasok daw ako sa OR, and this is by per my wife, na doon niya na-receive yung email na parang na-approve na kami. She has to go do medical kasi alis na kami. You see how God works in mysterious ways, bro. I was like, oh man, oh God, you are the greatest. So yun yung nangyari. And then after that, I had to stay in the Philippines for another 1 year, kasi kailangan kong tapusin yung study because it was 2 years. I had to stay in the Philippines at saka at the same time bago pa lang yung transplant, at least alam mo yung makarecover yung katawan ko from the transplant, because pag nag-transplant ka sobrang vulnerable mo, yung may yung mabilis ka malalinan ng sipon or kahit anong sakit, mabilis ka malalalinan. So I had to stay, and that was the longest time na hindi kami mag-asama ng asawa ko. And then after that, we went straight to Bakersfield. After a year, sumunod kami ng anak ko, and the rest is history, man. Rest is history, man. I just want to share it to you guys, because if ever na, alam mo yun, you're feeling down, may sakit ka, but alam mo yun, parang feeling mo wala nang nakakaintindi sa'yo, na down na kayo, doon pa dumarating yung sobrang daming problema, like there's no way out. I just want to tell you, bro, just hold on to your faith. Hold on to God, because He listens, He knows, He has plans for us. Sabi nga, even yung kung ilang hibla ng buhok mo, alam niya, diba? So He has plans, pero kailangan mo rin kumilos. Hindi rin naman pwedeng all faith. Kailangan kikilos ka rin. Kailangan ipakita mo rin kay God na you are worthy to be given a chance. Alam mo yun, hindi pwedeng may sakit ka, o asa na lang ako. That was like me before, and I told him like, Lord, ayoko mo hospital, aasa lang ako sa miracle mo, and if not, then be it. Kasi sobrang takot talaga ako mag-hospital. So yun, so ended up yun nga, but I mean, you just have to put also the work. Kailangan trumabaho din, kailangan gumawa ka din. Hindi lang yung faith, kasi faith without works is dead. Alam mo yun, like, naniniwala kay God na i-heal ka niya, pero you have to go dialysis, you have to attend that, kailangan mo mag-chemo, kailangan mo ng operation, you know, you have to do that. I mean, you cannot just say, God, heal me, and do nothing. Alam mo yun? So that's that. And then, man, the rest is history. Now, yung kidney ko is almost 8 years. It's gonna be 8 years on December 16. So, yun, man. I just want to share it to you. So, yun nga. Whatever your situation is, man, God's got you. I mean, God, He's got you. Huwag ka lang mag-give up, because He listens. He is always there. He has plans. All of His plans on His perfect time. I just want to tell you that. Ikaw na nakikinig nito, man, you know, feeling mo lang wala na. No, man. No, you just have to wait, and you have to do something about it. You have to pray. You have to be sensitive of Him. Kailangan maging sensitive ka rin. You have to read His Word, man. Read the Bible. Grab a book, read the Bible, 3 pages, 2 pages. You know, para mag-start ka lang. Just to start reading it. Alam mo yun? And then, eventually, you're gonna love it. And then, you know, God talked to us through the Bible and Him using other people, right? So, ayaw mo ba nun na you get to conversate with God? Tell Him all your frustrations, all your problems, everything, man. You can tell Him to God. You can tell it to God. and He will respond to you, bro. So I just want to share that to you. Huwag ka mawawala ng pag-asa, man. God is always there. At the end of the day, kung ano man, kung sa tingin mo, but I'm not saying na yung mga kaibigan mo, hindi ko naman nila lahat. But I had a lot of friends, bro. I had a ton of friends. Magkasakit ako, nawala. But God and your family, immediate family, what I'm talking about is your mom, your brother, if you have your family, your wife, your kids. At the end of the day, man, it's just them. Hate it or love it. Hate me or, tell me I'm wrong. Pero at the end of the day, sila lang maasahan mo. And especially God. Siya lang maasahan mo. Kasi alam mo, yung family, sometimes even better yung ibang tao. I'm just stating facts, man. Because I experienced it firsthand. Basta yun lang masasabi ko. But I just want to tell you, man, God is always with us. He listens. Alright, let's do this tomorrow again. Pasensya na kayo, sobrang haba ng kwento ko. Hindi kasi ako magaling talaga mag-summarize. But yeah, man, so that's it, bro. I'll catch you guys up tomorrow. Do this vlog. It's very uncomfortable, but I think this will help me, mentally. That we have to be uncomfortable. Sabi nga kasi I heard this guy, uncomfortable is, it unlocks a lot of things. Being uncomfortable, being out of your safety zone. You know what I'm saying? So yun, man. Again, God is the greatest, man. God is the greatest. I just want to tell you that. Alright? See y'all tomorrow on this vlog. Again, name is Boogie. Alright, family. Yo, we out. Peace.